I know there are certain videos you can count on from me pretty much every year like clockwork. Something reminding you that John Cena's not the GOAT. Although in the year 2025, I don't know if you're going to get that one. I'm still trying to hold out hope that we get the real WrestleMania dream match with him. Although that hope is fleeting by the day. Some type of video about how much Charlotte Flair sucks, because it's always good to have a reminder. And folks frankly need it. I'm going to keep pounding it in people's heads, and eventually they'll get the fucking picture. And then also it feels like an almost yearly tradition of coming on here and talking about how much this year's WrestleMania card doesn't really strike me, how much this year's WrestleMania card seems lacking. And look, I realize we're about 2 months away from the show. So a lot can change, and a lot is yet to be finalized, formalized, all of that. But at this moment, where we sit right now, I'm looking at what's been announced for WrestleMania, what is likely or could be announced for WrestleMania, and I'm incredibly underwhelmed. I could only imagine the people that have convinced themselves that paying thousands of dollars for even shitty seats to WrestleMania this year feel like this is going to be a great investment when they look at the inevitable 2-night match card. And this goes beyond just like, hey, The Rock's likely to not wrestle at this show. Because if you look at it on the surface, and when you think about WWE in recent years in terms of who've been the big players, big stars for them, right? You've got Roman, you've got John Cena, you've got CM Punk, you've got Seth Rollins. Like, they've got some star power here, right? So you can't just look at it and say, well, it's the lack of star power. Nah, that's not it. It's just, I look at it, and I'm sorry, this looks like dog shit. Because let's look at the matches that we actually know, right? You got Tiffany Stratton defending the WWE Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair. Legitimately, why would anybody be fucking interested in this? What is appealing about this? What leaps out to you and says, oh my God, I can't wait to see it? We've been down this path how many fucking times with Charlotte Flair? The only way that you would get me interested in this is if Tiffy time equals squashing Charlotte Flair at Mania, because that would be huge for the Tiffany Stratton character, and also create, for the first time ever, some interesting possibilities for the Charlotte Flair character. Of course, they're not going to fucking do that. It's going to be your standard old 50-50 booking bullshit that likely results in Charlotte Flair winning the championship again, and the crowd goes mild. Like, of all the possible matchups you could have done here, this is the fucking one? Like, nah, been there, done that with Charlotte Flair. She fucking sucks. Tired of it. Especially with the way she's always featured. Gunther versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. This isn't even about whether or not Jey Uso should or should not have been the Royal Rumble winner. You know, there's certainly an argument to make that he should have been, and there have been worse Rumble winners for sure. But you've seen this match a couple of times. What stands out about this? What makes this feel special? What makes this feel unique? What makes this feel like something you really just got to go out of your way to see? I'm sorry, the answer here is absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. No. No. I have very little interest in seeing this, and this is one of your world title matches. Honestly, it's a world title match that is very likely destined for the mid-card on night one. Right? It's either going to be Rhea Ripley or Io Sky taking on the winner of the Women's Elimination Chamber match. Okay. And maybe a piece of this is I'm just not as emotionally invested and connected with today's WWE, today's wrestling, for these matches to resonate with me more, mean more. But I'm sorry, I just look at this shit and none of it seems all that interesting. You've got the matzo ball of, John Cena is going to have a match at WrestleMania. And let's say they go down the path of it's going to be him versus Cody Rhodes. Like, I'm sorry. No matter what, that's not appealing. You're going to give me John Cena versus the Great Value Homelander version of John Cena. Like, I'm supposed to care about that? And even when you look at the possible outcomes of a match between Cena and Cody at WrestleMania, the two main outcomes are both really effing stupid. They really are if you think about it. Because one option is you have Cody retain because now Cena's got to pass the torch to him as if Roman passed the torch to him last year wasn't fucking enough, and give me a break. And now you've had Cena in his last WrestleMania lose, and it's one of these things that if you're trying to make people really invested in Cena in his retirement saga, he's got to win some fucking matches. And him losing a big match, we've seen that a ton actually, almost too much in recent years, to where it becomes predictable and it is a diminishing return each time that it happens. Or arguably even worse, John Cena beats Cody Rhodes and you say, well, that gives him the 17th world title. But it was supposed to happen with Randy Orton, damn it! But beyond that, let's put aside that part for a second and just realize, so you invested multiple years into Cody Rhodes going after and ultimately overcoming Roman Reigns just to have it be like the indirect person that benefits is John Cena? What the fuck are we doing here? And you look at some of the other potential proposed matchups, like a Damian Priest versus a Drew McIntyre. Does that really resonate with anybody? Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, if that's the direction that they go. It seems like these guys can't help but always come back into freaking orbit of each other. Do we really need to see that in 2025? I saw this shit as a main event of Final Battle 2010, 14 plus years later. I don't think I need to see it anymore. Or if you tell me Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton. You have John Cena and you have Randy Orton both wrestling at WrestleMania, and somehow we can't fucking figure out how to have the two face each other! Come on. And then there's talk about the triple threat match between Roman Reigns and CM Punk and Seth Rollins. And you talk about booking yourself into a really stupid corner for no damn reason whatsoever. Pick a lane. It's either Roman versus Punk, where you have story, you have history, and you could absolutely make that work. And if you want to take the swing of hey, CM Punk might actually be healthy for this WrestleMania season. He's going to be 47 this year. He's only got so many Mania matches left. We might want to make him and Roman happen. Probably a good time to do that. Or you go with Roman versus Seth Rollins, and while you have seen this match before, there's over a decade of history there following up on last year's WrestleMania main event. That match makes all the sense in the fucking world. Forcing yourself into a situation where you potentially put these guys in a triple threat that isn't for the title is really, really stupid. Really stupid. Just astoundingly idiotic. I hate triple threat matches in general. I've seen some suggestions of you could do CM Punk versus John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. No. Stop doing lame-ass triple threats. They suck. They absolutely suck. And you just, what are you going to do with, you going to have Logan Paul face a John Cena or Logan Paul face whoever, none of these, I'm sorry, just I look at this match card and it's it is impacted a little bit by the thought of The Rock not being there to wrestle and face somebody, right? Yeah, that is a disappointment. That is a letdown. Especially since it seemed like what you had been investing in late 2023 and early 2024 was going to lead you to this point in 2025 where that was going to be a thing. He's either going to face Roman or he's going to face Cody, and apparently none of that shit's happening. But it goes way beyond that, right? A year after Roman has main evented yet another WrestleMania and finally lost his title, you're not going to have him try to get back at Cody. The best you're going to have is a triple threat with Seth Rollins and CM Punk, where weirdly enough, Roman would almost feel like the third wheel, because if you're talking about like head-to-head matchups, as much story as there is with Roman and Rollins, like the one that has more heat technically would be CM Punk and Seth Rollins. Like that's more believable. You could feel real tension and heat there. So again, they have 2 months to fix this. But I do think it needs some fixing. Because between what's been announced, what's been rumored, what they seem to be pointing at, yeah, like, it looks like it's going to be a crappy WrestleMania. And all them people in Vegas that paid way too damn much to go are going to have to try and talk themselves into believing that it was a good investment when it very likely was not. Woof.